Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz and today we are going to be learning how to create interior pages for your KDP book, for a 6x9 size. Alright, so let's get started. So here we are on our Canva page here, and in order to start our interior page, we are just going to come right over here to create a design, and we're actually going to create a custom size. Click custom size, and then we're going to add in where it says 6x9, and then we're going to change this to inches. Okay, here we are at our blank page here. It's a 6x9 design. So the first thing I like to do is just rename my design to interior pages for 6x9. Oops, 5x9. Nope, 6x9. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to do is create basically just regular old lines on the paper, so that in our journals, or how people say low content books, you would be able to give the person really good straight lines to write on, and you'll be able to decorate them. So the reason why I really like using Canva is because they give the opportunity for you to kind of jazz up your blank pages, just so that they don't look super plain and are just lines. And I'll explain that a little bit more later. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is get a grid that you can actually search for through the website. So right now here you can go to like Google, or I use DuckDuckGo. And pretty much what you would do is just search grid, and then you would just have a number of grids that come up. So obviously with this one, I really like this one because it's a transparent grid. So you ideally would want one that has a transparent background. If it doesn't have a transparent background, it's totally fine, because if you use Canva Pro, you can actually make it transparent as well if you need to. But it'll be a lot easier if it already is. So what you would do is, just once you found that grid that you like, you would just right click, and then you would save the image, and then you would pretty much just upload it straight to Canva as you would any other picture. All right, so here you see that I have two different types of grids. So this one is transparent, and then this one isn't. So I really like to have both, because with this one, for instance, I can use it in many different types of ways. If I wanted to have certain things straight on my paper that I may not want to use in like a full interior page paper. So once you have your grid and you attach it right to your page, and if you're wondering how I did that, all I did was just drag and drop it, and as soon as it gets to that point, I just release. All right, so now that my grid lines are on the paper, next it's all about just making the lines. So what I would do is just go to elements, and you can either search lines, or they'll show them right up to you, and then you have a lot of variation types of lines to choose from. So I'm just going to stick with the typical regular old line, and so here let's go ahead and just put it on here. So as you can see, it's kind of difficult to see because the grid is the same color. So you can't necessarily change the color of the grid, because if you try to, it will turn the entire page that color. So what we want to do is mainly just kind of try to make the grid in the back just a little bit lighter, so that we can be able to see our lines a lot better. So where we're going to go is to the transparency button, and we're just going to make the lines incredibly light. So maybe to like 12, for instance. So we're going to do the transparency of 12. And then as you can see, now you can see that line that you just put over there. Okay. So when you're making your book, as you can see, there are these 4 lines that create a box here. So that's a really good boundary to stay with, especially if you are making a book with no bleed. for your KDP book. And no bleed basically means that you have, when they print your book, you would have no images or any type of ink that needs to be put within like a certain margin of the book. So if you follow the guidelines ideally with this, that would actually allow for you to not have to worry about going into that bleed line if you choose not to. Okay, and we'll get more into bleed and no bleed options in my next video as you go into actually downloading your full interior book to KDP for live sale. Right now, I'm just going to try to stay inside this little box here and what I want to do with my lines. So basically, it's pretty simple, procedure with this. So you basically just kind of align your line with the line of the transparent grid. And so once you have that first line, the next thing that you're going to do is actually choose what type of line that you really want. So you might realize, I really don't like the solid straight line, and you may want to do another style like a dashed line or a dotted line. So then what you would do is you would create the dotted line, you would choose that one, and then you would make sure it is the length that you want. All right, so once I have that set up, then all you do is you align it, and then so that you're not constantly keep doing the same thing over and over again, you will just go up here to the duplicate button, and you would just click that as many times as you feel like you need to. All right. So as you can see, when I duplicate it, it goes slanted, but totally fine, because what we're going to do is just move it so that it is aligned with everything that I want to do. All right, so I'm just going to move that one, just going to move this one. And then as you can see, if you want to know if it's all aligned, you can kind of see also another boundary line comes out here on the side that shows that it's aligned with, this line is aligned with the line below it. So you can see that, all right, as well. And that's what kind of makes everything really uniform for your books as well when you're doing that. Okay, so, and then don't forget to keep it aligned with the grid, the transparent grid as well. Okay, so it does take some time to do this. And so once you do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and then I will see you guys back later once you're finished with this step. All right. Now, obviously, sometimes, it may look a little wonky, but usually it does do a pretty good job in making sure that it's at a really great distance for your book. And as you can see, this is a good many lines to have on a book for a journal. I think that it works out fine. Okay, so, and then as you can see, this is how it will look up close if you wanted to make sure that they were all, for the most part, straight. Okay, so looks pretty good from what I can tell. If you do see one that you feel like is a little out of line, just kind of move it up a little bit. So now that you have your grid, now you can obviously make all of your pages look like this, or you can kind of get creative in doing other things, especially if you're doing teen journals like I like to do. Sometimes I like to put little images in the back just to make it look cuter for my customers when they're writing in it. All right, so in the next video, I'll just pretty much tell you about how I duplicate each page and basically combine it into a full PDF so that you can actually upload it to KDP. So I hope to see you guys next time. I really hope this was helpful to you all, and peace and blessings to you. All right, bye guys.